What is happening, crew? Thank you so much
E-Man.
for waiting on us. We are late, but we're here and we're happy, and we're happy that you're here. Dad, how we doing?
Fantastic. I'm having a great day. I'm on the boat, as you guys can probably tell behind me. Sorry, it's a bit glary back there. Woke up in the middle of the night with alarms going off. So, it's good fun here on the
Another
boat.
day on a boat.
Another day repairing stuff. So I always have time for the crew to sit down and have a chat for at least an hour or so.
Yeah, you
How
do.
you
We
doing,
love
Brent?
that.
Yeah,
So
you're doing good.
So
All right.
good. Yeah,
Good
I'm
news.
happy.
Yeah.
We're both crew. Warning! Red flag! Red flag! I went to watch my dad's last video this morning, and we both have seen an advertisement that is going on, where it would so appear that an artificial Brad Garlinghouse is coming on and posting a QR code. That QR code is taking you to a what would look like a wallet exchange, and giving you the promise of giving said amount of XRP, the starting at 1,000, which is the most suspicious part of all, and then doubling it for you. I've researched into the channel and the link on that, and it looks extremely shady. If anybody has any other takes, if they've actually done it or any of that, please let us know. Oh, bye, Dad. So yeah, everybody, I got into it as hard as I can, because I don't want any of you to lose out on money. It's scam reminder. We don't want to get scam bank manned. That's just not it. That's not what we're doing here. We're here as the crew for each other, teaching ourselves and each other about how to think the opposite, how to weasel ourselves out of this economic trap and into wonderful tools and wonderful things that are happening in crypto. And those wonderful things are happening. We're going to talk a lot today about. We just watched a video that Rector did, and big shout out to Zach. We love him. He did a really great video about a Coindesk article written about the new automated market maker on the XRP ledger. I can't speak today. We're gonna have some more caffeine. So Dad and I are really geeked up about that. Any questions in here? Fire them away, y'all. What? Hey, Joanna. What did you take from that, Dad? What are your? I know you were geeked up on it, and you watched that video twice. I'm gonna go back and watch. I watched it twice already, and took notes. What's your thoughts, just general?
I can't, man. We have a really bad connection. I do on my end, I guess. Hopefully, you guys can all hear and see me.
Mm-hmm.
Can you guys all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear and see you great. Yeah.
It's back. It cut out on me big time. I was like, oh, not good. So I only caught about half of what you were talking about there, unfortunately, Brent. But yeah, it's there's a lot of bots out there. There's a lot of scams, and I think that's what you were talking about.
Yeah, and then I introed us into Zach's video and us talking about the automated market maker.
Yeah.
And that we're all
anyone who hasn't seen that video. who hasn't seen that video should really get into it. The AMM video he did about Ripple, and it's really good. XRP. It's a little dense for a lot of people, so I actually listened to it twice. The second time, I got a lot more out of it. It's such big picture and such a big concept. It's like a three-legged stool for me. He answered some questions that I had in my mind, or confirmed some ideas that I had. But on the other hand, I think we're all going to this more of a sound money, if you will, with the DEX, and it's going to be more about how that whole system is going to interrupt nationwide.
We're having some technical difficulties. We'll get Dad back here in a second. Hope Breaker, yes. Let's just all keep those positive vibes going on. So I posted the links for Zach's video in the description below, and then also the article that he's drawing from. That's I believe was on Coindesk. I was reading along with it, and it was the identical article. So both of those are on there for you guys to check out. Both are amazing. I got to learn a lot about liquidity pools from Ivan on Tech, and it was so interesting. But years back, there was this real, imbalance. There's a lot of rug pulls because you have all these people contributing liquidity, and then you have this whale come in, and the whale goes to make the big withdrawal, and then it sends the whole thing out of balance. So that, with the XRP ledger and the addition of this protocol, it's looking to really, when you think about it in terms of what XRP is doing with institutions and banking, it's just this. I think it's going to be a real home run. And I want to see it be that. And it's all about ratios and balancing on liquidity pools. And we'll get into said things. There's like arbitrage traders and all that stuff. Let me try to get Dad back here. The Woo Man. And a fine day to you, sir.
Yeah, I'm just hiding from everybody.
Hey, we get to see the pilot house now. Heck yeah.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Sorry, guys, my internet is obviously fouling the show up. So if I lose you again, I don't know what we'll do. I'm not getting hardly anything of what you're talking about, Brent, which really makes for a terrible show. But I'm
just running on. I'm running on everything that I've learned about it so far with the ledger itself. Yeah. And I'll fill in the blanks. I want you to run right now while we got a good connection with you.
Yeah, one of the really I was talking about the three-legged stool, the liquidity. Okay, that's going to come into from the Ripple RPL network. Okay, is going to be the liquidity. You and I always knew that we were going to provide that liquidity because 100 billion tokens is a ton of liquidity. But the beautiful part is you're only needing one side of the transaction. In the past, when we did DeFi, you would have to put it in with somebody's account, and with that account, you would have to have both sides of a trade. In other words, Bitcoin and XRP. They would have to be with each other, and the DeFi would trade the two together. And essentially, the arbitrage, or the difference between the two trade values, would be the percentage that would be created in the income of the transaction. This is different. This is completely, this new DEX, the way they're going to do this thing is going to be, you're just going to have to put one side of the equation up, and it's going to be up to the other side of the pool to put their side up. Therefore, you're going to maintain and keep control of your coin. Beautiful thing. I mean, but where I'm going next level with this whole thing is that's going to occur next with stable coins. Okay, so stable coins are going to be central banking globally. Okay, and then it's going to be, I'm going to say continental, and then I'm going to say national or within the borders of a nation. And then I'm going to say below that, the banks of said nation. So all of those different levels and layers are going to be stable coins. Using these DEX, and you with XRP in particular, XLM's already been doing these DEX too, by the way, guys. They've been already involved in that for a while now. What these DEX are going to be able to do is handle or help with the liquidity of these trades internationally. Like we like to talk about with the railroad tracks, it's going to be the XRP in between transactions, but you might only be half of the transaction, as I just explained. It might be a arbitrage or valuation between the two coins that is being traded on said exchange or wallet or whatever, or industry who's using them. You only have to provide one half. But XRP, as network runs across, is going to be the market maker itself, and it's going to generate its own market. So you're going to be enclosed on all transactions of all said stablecoin. But they're separate. They're different. XRP is not a stablecoin, as we know. But I did a video a year and a half ago explaining that the big competition between stablecoins is XRP. And back then, my thought process a year and a half ago was the biggest competition to Circle would be XRP. That's why, because they both do similar thing. If you watched my video just a couple days ago, I sort of altered that. As we learn, we get a little smarter about all this. So I learned where we're going now is stable coins being supported by a banking national system. Sorry, guys, you haven't seen that video. I just said that you watched it the other day. I just filmed one yesterday that I was going to launch today or tomorrow. Anyway, look forward to that. And it talks about how nation states are going to have to come clean and honest about what you and I know, which is sound money. No more rehypothecation, no more or less of fractional reserve banking, because these stable coins are one-to-one. You have to have $1 for every dollar worth of Ripple. Sorry, XRP. You have to have that. You can't buy 8 XRP, right, without $4. You have to have the $4 on the barrelhead. How are they going to fractionally reserve that? Can't. That's the beauty of where we're going. We're headed towards honest money in a roundabout digital manner in which you and I have been hoping for a very long time. Now, that's the second half of the stool. The third leg of the stool that I'm talking about is when all of us become the network. All of us will be paid to hold and own and control these. This is why I'm leaning less and less against, oh, well, my XRP went to $100. I'm just going to sell them. I'm leaning less towards that's a good idea going forward, because everybody who's under the age of Brent understands that we're not going to play around with fake money anymore. We're going to go forward with digital assets, and that's only going to grow as time goes on. And those first two legs of the explanation I just gave you are really important to the strength and honesty of money or value of labor going forward in the world. And you own a big portion of that. It's hard to see today, but you own it. You own the HTTP. You own the whole ICP, and you own the backbone of the network of the future of finance. And I didn't explain that real well, but it's so key. It's really key what we own, and we get little bits and pieces and we share it with each other. Like Zach shared that article was so great, and it was such a brilliant video. You must watch it. Very, very great explanation.
It really was. It's got the old noggin turning.
It does.
So the basics. Can you hear me, Dad?
Mm-hmm.
So the basics. We're buying on these centralized exchanges, right? So a DEX being a decentralized exchange, us doing the trading, and the beauty of being on the ledger is when we're contributing to this, we're trading liquidity that becomes locked into smart contracts. Essentially, is how I understood it.
That's right.
I'm going to talk about the circle, Dad, because it's like as someone who doesn't,
it's so expansive.
As someone who doesn't understand, like I don't have a lifelong knowledge of finance like you do. Like, when I was first learning about liquidity pools, it was like, okay, well, how does this thing actually how does this start generating? How does this start building? How does this keep growing instead of just lending your money and then being in the fear of this rug pull? How is this going to be different? You and I talked about it. It's so exciting that XRP is doing it on Ledger in-house instead of you having to go through some other, DEX or DAO or whatever to get into one of these pools. And then you get into the institutions and the banks and the countries and all these, 58 countries now that Ripple is partnering with. To me, it just lends for stability. And so understanding the cycle of creating a liquidity pool, Zach had this really great graphic. I just wrote it down. So
was that the CLD one?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So you lend the liquidity.
Yes.
The liquidity tracks traders.
Correct. Keeping honesty in price and arbitrage.
Mm-hmm. And arbitrage traders helping balance the ratio. So there's not a great influx of rise or drop in price, but globally.
So that we keep XRP 52 cents at this point everywhere in the world now. And it going up, but it not being 48 cents in Singapore and 52 cents in Canada. Mm-hmm. It's going to keep that its value tight and perfect and true to whatever that number is at the time. All the while allowing it to go up in value because it jogs its way up, right?
Mm-hmm.
But your spread, you never want your spread to be too wide. Remember, that's essentially how scam bankman fraud got rich. Was he was trading global markets in the arbitrage between Bitcoin prices in different markets around the world because he had the technology or was given the technology to trade those instantly in real time. And he was making, $2-3 per every Bitcoin or whatever it was, maybe even more. And he was trading a larger and larger leveraged account to make those tens of thousands of dollars per transaction. And the more he was doing that, creating that arbitrage, the more it was actually creating a wider gap. and a bigger spread. So he was, self-prophecy of creating his own market. And he knew that the manipulation could be wider and wider and wider because there weren't enough people keeping the system honest and keeping the arbitrage tight, which is exactly what we're talking about, which is exactly what that COB document showed.
Mm-hmm. So with the increase of people coming to it, adding liquidity traders, the volume increases.
That's correct.
As
Yes.
the volume increases, now you've got more and more building of fees, ability to take withdrawals. So you're adding and you're able to take away.
Right.
These, I don't want to screw it up.
No, you're there.
And then with those fees, so now your liquidity providers get to take returns,
Mm-hmm.
and then also continue to stabilize the liquidity pool. So that's essentially the circle.
Yes. So think of when you stake a coin on a network. The more you stake that coin, in particular like a Cardano, okay, the more Cardanos get staked and locked up to secure the system, the more efficient the system becomes, and the more sound it becomes because it has less people to be able to manipulate it. That's exactly the same thing in that DEX. The amount of people who invest their XRP, whether it be banks or whether it be private citizens, in that liquidity pool, the stronger and more sound it becomes. In other words, one big fat cat can't come in and just slosh all the water out of the pool. The water fills right back in. So you can't manipulate market is what you're shooting for. And remember, the more sound the market, the more trust it builds. And the more trust you have, the more nation states, the more central banks rely upon it, the more everybody can understand it. And then everybody goes to it. It's sort of like, unfortunately, XRP didn't have the first case user to market and get popular like Bitcoin did. However, its opportunity is to crush the stability and the trust of global banking systems, in that you use XRP for this. When you want to move value, this DEX is going to create solid, stable ground in which everybody can trust, because this automated market maker is going to make incredible liquidity, which we already know it already had. But the stability of it is going to be built out, because the more people that see it and the more people that make money off of it, like you and I, allows you to do what? If the XRP doubles in value, you don't have to sell your coins now. You can make money off your coins in a DeFi manner, not exactly DeFi, but in a DeFi manner, in which is going to entice you and many other banking institutions to own more of it and more of it and more of it, because it gives you a residual income. And this stabilizes like staking a coin. And it's always been an issue, because we're like, XRP is less of a blockchain and it's more of a ledger style coin, which is very different. Okay, it'd take me 30 minutes and I'd have to read up on it again to explain that real clearly, but it's a different style. So therefore it's harder to stake XRP in that manner. So this gives us an avenue for income going forward. I'm sure there's tech people that are watching this right now going, he just completely butchered that. But that's in my pea-sized brain how I can explain it best. It's more of a ledger network and dealt with in packets, and less so than on a chain. although it is on a chain. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's different tech, and they've found a perfect use case for it, which is banking. Is exactly what XRP was always meant to be. But now, instead of loaning money and getting interest in return, you're going to earn your interest from the use of your coin. But from the reward will be given to you because you're part of the stabilization of the DEX.
Yep. And the philosophy to me, Dad, the very end of the circle is that it's, I think in these things in the past, like I've been rug pulled. I lost my
Yeah.
tush in my pants in whatchamacallit, Wonderland.
Wonderland. We had fun with that.
Yeah, we got into the end of Wonderland, everybody. There's your laugh chat for Sunday.
It was fun while it lasted, though.
Yeah, somebody made some money. Good
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah.
We had fun.
Lesson learned.
It's once that stability is created, it's not just okay. Let me lend this. Let me earn my tokens, earn my fees, earn my rewards. Get out. But as that stability in that system grows and feels safe, feels trustworthy, nice. Then you want to go back into it.
Yeah, that's right.
Then you want to keep using it.
Of course.
Something that was brought up in the video, Dad, I wanted to ask you about is like with centralized exchanges, like we've all seen. You have trading pairs, so you can use Bitcoin to buy Tether or trade for Tether, etc. So with on here and through XRPL, this AMM, like Zach was talking about being able to use other assets, not just XRP to enter, and explaining how that was different than, I guess, like the Uniswaps and the others of the past.
Yeah.
That's
all because well, you should watch the video, but I mean, okay. Uniswap is a layer 2 on Ethereum. Mm-hmm. Okay. So already there's inefficiency there, right? Mm-hmm. You're layer 2, right? You want to be a layer 1 that offers it in a smart contract or in a DEX or even a DAO, like you mentioned before, manner, so that you keep it in house. Because anytime you go out of your house to do anything, you're at risk. Okay, whether it be, all of a sudden Uniswap goes belly up, it's a black eye on Ethereum. They're not even really affiliated. I mean, they're affiliated, but they're just using their ERC20, right? Now, if you can keep it in house and keep it on a layer 1, then you have more control of the situation. In other words, Ripple, and by the way, they just hired more employees. That was kind of really cool to hear. I think they're over 1,000 employees now, which is really neat. They're expanding and growing. So Ripple, anyway, they get to keep it under house, and they keep it on the initial layer 1, which is so much more sound and more secure, and you have more control over your destiny, which is huge. The one thing he did say in that video, which is not accurate, was that to his knowledge, well, of course, I think he said to his knowledge, that they were the only ones that could do that swap in and out of all coins. And actually, you and I happen to know of a little company called Divi, and Divi has actually gone about 3 layers beyond a DEX, and they're in a place to where they've been doing that for, I don't know, over a year now, but it's solid in the vault system that they created, and it's pretty cool. I don't want to make this video about Divi, but you can swap in and out of anything now, and you could even go in and out of ERC20, which I know you can as well with Ripple. So you can go in and out of anything And I think that's going to be more commonplace than ever. I think the days of using things like Uniswap and other things is too complicated, too hard for people to understand. And I think it's just going to be all on layer ones. And it's just going to be, that's what that coin does, period. It's in-house. It's its own smart contract. It's its own NFT. It's its own deal. And it will consume, like we've been talking about for years, right, Brent? It's
Mhm.
going to consume all the other little projects that have great code and great software and great ideas and maybe even a social following. It's just companies like Ripple are just going to buy them up, and that's already happened many times. So
Mhm.
that's why you don't want to hit the home runs. You don't want the little coins
Mhm.
because their their tech, once it's exposed, once their white papers are out there, Ripple's got a staff of 1,000 people going, that's a clever idea. Huh. They don't have any copyright on it. Let's do that. Let's implement that into our system. So, and I'm not saying it's stealing. I'm just saying it's an open ledger system. That's what this whole thing is. It's decentralized for a reason. We all grow together. We all get better and come up with better and more clever ideas to move the value of people around the world.
I totally agree with all that, Dad.
Yeah,
Yep.
man,
Um,
I'm so excited about where we're at right now, people. I really am.
mhm.
This is all happening now, and it's really, banks are figuring it out. Banks already have a hard date. Banks already know that their day of skimming from the bottom is over, and they're going to have to become more honest, and they're going to have to become more one to one. And um, I've been talking behind the scenes with Brent and Elizabeth, and we're doing a lot of really neat stuff behind the scenes about what 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 do you plan to do when you make 10 grand, 100 grand, or $500,000? Then what? What are you going to do with yourself? And many of you have a great game plan. You're going to buy a farm and you're going to do your thing and you're going to do whatever it might be, or buy a condo on the beach, or just screw off on a boat for a year and a half. Whatever your game plan you may have set, but there's many people who are like, I don't know, I just got in this thing to get rich. I'm not rich yet, so when I get there, I'll figure that out. Well, those people, I'm trying to get ahead of that, and I'm trying to figure out better ways to make it more simple for all of us to retain our wealth when this next bull run comes. So that's what we work
Yes.
on behind the scenes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Creating a lifetime income.
Yes. Residually,
You
and
know,
not just with a
cool. We got
trading
a
bot.
big payday.
Yeah.
I've spent plenty of those. I'm sure I know my dad has. I'm sure you all
Yeah.
have too. Um, let's play it smart. Let's have a
Yeah.
plan, and that's so well put, Dad. This whole channel, a lot of what we talk about together and with all of you is like how to reverse engineer our mind. I started calling it the reverse engineering the trap. You know,
And
of just continuing to work and work and work to try to accrue depreciating assets or currency, um, and us becoming the really smart ones who jump to the other side, do things differently. And they're not, I mean, some of these things are, very, very complicated, especially when you get into it. But they're also incredibly simple when you think
yeah.
about it. It's just like crypto. When we all had that light bulb moment, we're all just like, oh, wow, that's like the opposite of how, you know, currency works. Like this is the ultimate trading tool. And
Yeah.
that's the kind of stuff we're looking for. And I loved our last conversation, Dad, because it's just, we want all those gold nuggets. We want to share with all of you because it's, we don't want to be rich and well off without you. We
Yeah.
we want to be rich and well off together on a cruise ship somewhere.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And what you learn as you get older in life is just what you said. It's no fun doing it by yourself, right? Almost everything all my bosses say, every boss I've ever worked for, and the biggest bummer for them is they're wealthy and all their friends are working all day. And it's like, well, I want to go screw off. And I have my best friends can't because they're busy with their families and their lives and other things. And I want to screw off with my friends. And they can't because the people that you know or that you've associated with and people in this group who become friends and family of ours, one day we're all going to be in the same boat and we're all going to have time for each other. And we're going to have time to spend with each other and share each other's lives. Not just in the hopes and dreams of doing well in life after we do well in life. And that's different. That I can't even think in the history of man when that's ever really happened before. So it's gonna be really
Yeah.
neat.
That's
But
get to some comments here. That's exactly it, Crypto Gamer. That's exactly what we're talking about with XRPL and this AMM is creating positive yield. That's
yes,
that's it. Period. Live and Daddy said live off yield return. Or she
yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah. That would be nice. That would be
I'm working. I'm working. I know a few ways to do that, and I'm working on more to do that. And all of that is going to be coming up, and when we get into the bowl, then we'll know where to go with it, which is going to be fun. Yeah. But also, I wanted to mention the video that you and I did with Simon about the bot.
Yes.
I really need you guys to, if you're interested at all, just sign up for it. It doesn't cost you anything. It's not like, 90 days from now, they're going to start billing me. That is not the case. Okay. That's not what this is. If you put your name in there and just get registered, not even do the bot yet or fund it yet, just get registered, you're going to be in on the ground floor and grandfathered in, and there's going to be perks down the line and down the road that you may or may not ever even use, but at least you're in. And it's a real cool thing, and it's one of those things that is going to be generating wealth for a long time to come. Steady
Yeah.
income. Yeah,
I
nothing
I put
big.
a fairly small amount of money into mine and just I forgot I own it. I maybe look at it once a month now.
Right, right.
And it's made mine's 20%. It's been
Yeah,
20% increase. So awesome.
yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
good stuff. If you
and it's
get that
fun.
annually, if you get 20% annually, I
Mhm.
mean, let's say you make, you know, let's say you make 100 grand off your crypto. That's 20 grand a year. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, and you haven't even run yours for a whole year. Not that you would put all 100 grand in there right away, and there's going to be strategies down the line what to do with it all. I'm not,
Right.
trust me, that bot is not anything that I'm going to count on as far as income in my future life. It's just something that's another page in the book of residual income that we're working on. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's going to be fun.
Brian's going to Vegas. Yeah, bro.
Nice.
That's what we like to see.
All right.
We got some Ace Ventura comments in here, Dad.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Such winners as a real sports nut, huh? And your gun is digging into my hip. I
Yeah.
think
Love it.
maybe my favorite. I just watched that movie when he's got all the gum in his mouth and he's having to follow her.
Yeah.
Her gun is digging into my hip. God.
I love the end of the movie after the movie's over, that little rap song that plays.
Yeah, I
That
think
is
that's
so
Tone
good.
Loc.
What's
Yeah,
that?
I think that's Tone Loc. It's one of the actors in the
So
movie.
good.
Yeah,
So good.
so
Yeah.
good.
Hmm.
What up, Brittany? Welcome.
Brittany's
Robert's
back
in
in
the
the house.
house. Cody, man, we got everybody, Dad. Everybody's in here.
We got the code man.
I haven't seen Cezanne. I don't think I've seen that on here.
Brent, I can't wait for you to
What's
meet
us?
Cody.
I can't wait to meet you, Cody. Cannot wait. And your wife and your wonderful child. I've
You've
heard
got,
wonderful things about
yeah,
all of you.
you
Cannot
wait.
wait.
We're gonna do. I know there was a full moon like last night or something, right? But one time, Brent, when you come to my house, we got to do it on a full moon, and we'll meet all those guys, and you'll love it, man. It's a cool scene. Really good people.
That's
Very
awesome.
amazing vibe to the whole thing that I just tuned into immediately. It was a good fun. Yeah, really good people.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah,
Can't wait. It was cool to see you, Cody, in the chat for Elizabeth's video. That was awesome.
yeah. She
We
did a
can
video. That was good
talk
fun.
about that one if you want to, Dad. If you want to open
No,
it up
not
a little
yet.
bit. Okay.
Down the road, we'll talk more about that kind of stuff. But we're learning a lot, and she's learning a lot. And when Elizabeth puts her mind to something, boy, look out! She's going to figure it all out, which we're excited about.
Our
I had
bulldog.
I had a I had a few emails this week that were kind of interesting. I had I don't want to use his name. He didn't say whether or not I could, but a dairy farmer. There's two or three dairy. I have two dairy farmers that send me stuff, and I really want to say this to everybody: if you don't understand where your milk and your cheese comes from, those people work their butt off. I mean, dairy farming is not an easy gig. Okay, I know a bunch of it's even gotten automated, but they work hard and they don't make a lot of money. And it's kind of amazing when I hear somebody my age that's still a dairy farmer. It's like, wow, man. I'm hats off to you, sir.
Yeah.
He sent me something that was pretty interesting. I think it's kind of in the news right now, and it was about this guy or this network that essentially Homeland Security or those people in the three-letter agencies are have control, if you will, over the not the over the counter, the retail trading markets for crypto. I've heard this before. I've heard it in different ways. You okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
And they manipulate these markets and all the above. True, true. They have forever, and they will forever in a lot of ways. This is what blockchain and this is what open source fixes, in my opinion, because some of the examples that were sent to me were about one of our favorite subjects was Mount Gox, and the Silk Road scam. And both of those, I want to remind everybody, people title a video or a statement or an article and they say Bitcoin's a scam. And then they refer to Homeland Security's investigations. And then I don't care if you're talking about Bitcoin or XRP or what, XRP is a scam. And then they refer to Mt. Gox, Silk Road, and FTX. What all three of those things have in common is they're exchanges. Exchanges are run by man. Man is always corrupt. Man are thieves and liars. Guns don't kill people, man does, right? Like we have to understand that. Bitcoin was never hacked. XRP has never been hacked. The networks that it's been on have been hacked. And those are the networks that I'm talking about, the exchanges. Can they control those? Yes. Can they hack them? Yes. Are you vulnerable when you're on them? Yes. Should you get your coins off of them? Immediately is the answer to that. But they title these things and they say, oh, well, Bitcoin's a scam. It's like, well, Bitcoin didn't fail anybody. XRP hasn't failed anybody. Okay. guns don't just go off. They're rigged, or they're manipulated by man. And anytime it man's between you and your coins, you get trouble. Even if you're on Ledger, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if you're on your laptop, right? Like, those things can be corrupted completely. So remember, the coin didn't get hacked. It's very hard to understand that. It's like corrupting gold. You can't corrupt a gold bar. Well, sorry, you could fill it full of tungsten, but once you've analyzed the gold as gold, okay, you can't corrupt it. You can steal it. You can kill somebody by beating them over the head with it, or whatever you want to do, but you didn't corrupt the gold. So when man and the institutions finally come to the point and understand, in particular, this is where I like to throw AI in. When the reality of AI comes into these networks of trading, when I was talking about earlier, like the stablecoin networks, okay, when those things have to be real, AI is going to know, hey, this is the real coin. That's a real transaction. That's not. These are real. And you're going to have AI watching AI. You're going to have a bot watching what goes in and out of your phone. And it's going to have your back. It's going to say, that's a scam, or this is really coming from a bad place. That already kind of happens now with, there's different companies out there like LifeLock and other things like that. Those things are going to scrutinize your transactions. Well, think about it on a bigger level. Those are going to be, so why would anything digital or non-man corrupted ever want to deal with a man organization in the future? In other words, I don't know, maybe Jamie Dimon's bank, who's been found for $38 billion of fraud. The bot's going to say, those people are risky. Why are you dealing with them? Mm-hmm. See what I'm saying? See where this is all going?
Yeah.
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
It's the monetary trap that you were talking about. What'd you call it? That's brilliant, Brennan. Reverse.
Yeah, reverse. We are all attempting to reverse engineer the trap. So in essence, setting ourselves free. And it's important because there's some liars out there. Everybody new to the chat, I brought this up in the very beginning. There's an ad going around, and it appears to be an AI version of Brad Garlinghouse, and he's talking about a $100 million XRP giveaway sweepstakes. And when you click on the QR code, it brings you up to this wallet. In the wallet, it's like, if you contribute, 1,000 XRP, we're going to send you 2,000 back. And then whenever the funds run out, that's when the funds run out. So hurry, everybody, get your XRP wallets out and send it to this link right here. You don't want to do that, everybody. No. These are the liars that my father is discussing right now. Did the money launderers just call me a money launderer? What?
Yeah.
That's like poop telling vomit.
Isn't it?
Stinks.
Isn't it interesting that on YouTube, I can't say specific words, but they'll play a commercial that is a bot scamming millions of people.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, are you people real? Are you looking at these commercials? Are you checking into these people at all? No, but I'm watching your language, sir. That freedom of speech thing is ruining the world. I just want you to know. Yeah.
I watched this film. I watched this film breakdown video. You see it. Of course, we all see it in the media and the government. But looking at a film, like, film is harder on nudity than killing people.
Yeah.
I was reminded of that one, and it's like, wow, man.
Yeah.
Really,
mm-hmm.
really looking at they really got us looking at stuff backwards here.
Yeah.
Some really cool news updates, everybody, that I looked up this morning. Um,
News? We don't do news.
we don't do news, but these ones are kind of
Yeah, we do.
important. They're. I only wrote down the really important stuff because I
No, I love it.
don't
What do
want
you
to do
got?
the news, but inform.
You can do the news, and I'll react to it.
None of that sounded good. None of that sounded right. Um, Yesterday, BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF account passes 2 billion in assets under management. SEC just delayed Grayscale spot ETF for Ethereum. The specifics, Gensler specified the green light was for Bitcoin, not a broader endorsement for other cryptocurrencies. You little weasel.
Yeah.
And then the two.
But wait a minute. How can you say these guys can do it, but those guys can't? You let the weasel out of the bag, man.
Yeah.
Now what?
God bless these ones, not those ones,
But
but these ones.
these ones, yeah, little Jack Johnson for you kids.
Oh, Jack on Sunday, everybody.
Love me some Jack Johnson.
Tomorrow, Google is going to begin allowing crypto ETF ads. Wednesday is the federal interest rate decision at 2200, and then JPAL's getting on a half an hour after that. So
here's what I'm talking about
market
with that.
fluctuations. That's why I bring those things up.
I think they're going to drop it or keep it level.
Mm-hmm.
I vote. I don't know what Wall Street's odds are, but I think they'll keep it.
Everything I'm reading says level, but
yeah, I think they'll wait till election time to drop it, closer to election. Just a guess. I don't know.
Yeah, that dude needs all the help he can get. So yeah, I'm sure they'll do it around then.
One of the things I'm really learning in my education and financial world that I'm living in is I'm starting to really understand that liquidity never ended. And I think I did a video a long time ago talking about, well, QE's here. It never left. When you're bailing out banks, like back, what was that, March, or Signature Bank and all those guys, they were bailing all those people out and all the investors. That's QE, essentially. So I really believe that the Fed doesn't have any control over the market anymore. I really believe that to be true. I know that they say they slowed down inflation. They didn't. They didn't do that. What happened is shipping got disrupted. So there was too much money, and everybody's, the government was handing money to everybody, right? Nobody had to pay their student loans. People didn't have to pay their mortgages. A lot of people, so a lot of people had money to spend on goods. Well, the shipping got shut down. Well, not enough goods and too much money creates inflation, and they knew that inflation would decline over the next year or two naturally. That's why they didn't raise rates back when they did, and they got to raising rates what they call late. They're like, oh, well, we can stop this, because they could see that once the shipping became a little more fluid. Of course, we have another thing in the Red Sea going on, but we won't get into that. But once they knew that pattern was coming, they could look like a hero by saying, oh, well, see, it fixed it and it's working. The whole thing is a Ponzi, and I guess we all know that on this channel. It's just really absurd.
Like, hey, look over here. Look over here.
That's right. Yeah. But I think they have less influence over the money than they've ever had before. That's my opinion. Mm-hmm. In fact, George Gammon did a video that somebody sent me the other day that was really good about that. You guys can look that up if you're into George Gammon's show. Somebody sent it to me, and they're like, Alan, it says here the Fed doesn't have any control over anything. And I thought, wow, okay, let me check that out. And he had a great little 10-minute video about it. You guys might want to look up.
Nice.
Yeah. I am a huge fan of George Gammon, but I can't watch everybody's content. I think he's great. I think he's a great man. I think his whiteboard presentations are brilliant, and I learn a lot. The issue I have with him and many people that are economists is that they follow what the news says. So they're taking news as the reality of what's happening in your life. And they say, well, that's not reality. It's like, well, of course, you're basing your show or your opinion upon what they're saying is reality, which we all know it's not. So like, it's weird for me. I don't know how to explain it any better than you're using a yardstick. You're using a measuring stick that's constantly moving in and out. So how can you measure anything? You just can't. It doesn't work like that. You and I say this all the time and it bears repeat. You and I are the commerce. You and I make the economy of the world. You buy something, you sell something. You buy something, you sell something. I had a great little demonstration that I was telling you about, Brent, the other night about true liquidity in a market. And I got it from this great economist. And anyway, I'm going to tell the story real quick. Okay, so you go into a new town and you have $100 bill and you write your name on you got it for your birthday or whatever it might have been. Your name is written on this $100 bill. And you think that you're going to stay at this motel, but you're not sure. So you just hand them the $100 bill and you say, hey, I may or may not get a room here. I'm going to look at some other places. I'm going to check the town. And if my car gets fixed, I'm going to leave town. So if my car gets fixed in time, but here's a deposit on my room. But if I'm back here by 5 o'clock, I want my $100 back. Okay, no problem. So the guy who runs the motel goes down and he has to buy an air conditioning unit. And he has to put more money down on the air conditioning unit down the street. So he only owes one more 100. So he gives the guy that owns the bill $100, wanting to pay off the air conditioner. That guy says, hey man, I'm almost out of food. I need to go to the grocery store. The guy goes to the grocery store. He spends the same $100 bill. That guy goes to the hardware store. The hardware store guy goes, oh man, I have relatives coming into town and I need to maybe secure a room for them. So I'm going to go over to the motel, and he gives the $100 bill back to the hotel manager, and the motel manager has the same $100 bill. You walk in the door and you say, hey, you know what? My car got fixed. I've got to get out of town. You see what happened there? That's what's called liquidity. That's what's called commerce. Everybody paid a bill with the same $100 bill. You follow that? Yet I got my $100 bill back and I went out of town. But everybody in town created business and everybody moved the money around and it ended up coming back to me and I left town. So what happened? Did the $100 actually ever get spent? That is what you and I do every single day in every single town and all over the world. The people at Wall Street manipulate that by adding dollars or subtracting dollars in any way that they can. And like I say all the time on the show, those people don't add value to the market. The air conditioner guy, the motel guy, and the grocery store all added value to your community by the movement of that money within it.
Mm-hmm. And the point you made to me when you were explaining that on the phone, Dad, which is it's like, oh yeah, the corporation started to move into those towns and learn. It's like, okay, I'm gonna start plucking the money out of here.
Yep.
I'm gonna start digging into the circle.
Yep. So they come in and they move in with a large Costco or a Walmart, and that starts going out of town into corporate.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of everybody trading those dollars, and any tourist that comes in or any new money that comes in or anybody that works outside of town, it brings the money into town. That's why buying neighborhood is a good idea, if you can, which is exactly, not to get too conspiratorial, why they only, oddly enough, during COVID, closed down the mom and pop stores, because you're way more infectious than Home Depot or Costco. How is that even remotely possible? Does that make sense to anybody? You could shop at Costco with a mask on, but you couldn't shop. All the little mom and pop stores had to be closed. Now that you know the $100 story, tells you what happened there. It's sad, but it's a reality. So you and I are commerce. You and I thrive. Our lives move forward from each other's needs and desires. We all need electricity. We need food. We need water. We need all these things, and we support each other through the purchase of them. And that's how they can't. We will never have a global depression again because of that. There's too many people on the planet that want to eat tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the well-being.
It's why I believe in crypto so much, because it's a peer-to-peer system. There will never be anybody that has your best interests like you do. And so, look, what's your immediate environment? It's your town, it's your village, it's your city, it's your county, even.
That's right.
And supporting and trading within that is that circle Dad's talking about. That's commerce.
Yeah.
And that, as the money comes in, it grows. And it creates, like we were talking about earlier with IAM, a positive yield.
Yeah.
It creates stability.
And they, in the Industrial Revolution, Henry Ford and many other people, J.P. Morgan, they all understood the mercantile. Okay, they understood that math. That, hey, I can sell a car to everybody in America. In other words, take the $100 or $500 or whatever a car was back then, value out of Des Moines, Iowa, and bring it to my bank in Detroit, Michigan. And I can centralize my money by pulling it, pilfering it, if you will, from all those other communities. Remember, at one time in America, there was 130 different car manufacturers. Yeah, because they were localized. Yeah. And there was some really great cars being made around the world, and they got aced out through centralization of the advertising and everybody else. Oh, you got to have a Ford, you got to have this, you got to have that. Yeah.
But I mean, some of the biggest ones got absorbed.
Right. And what we're starting to understand is the pyramid. That was the pyramid thing. It all went to Henry, right? Henry Ford. What's happening now is what crypto does is flips it on top, so the pyramid goes the other way. It's bottom up monetary, okay? Not top down. It's really, when you wrap your head around this whole thing, it's completely different than just, I bought a coin, I got rich with it. You're creating a global network of cutting the fat guy or the fat cats out of the equation. They have to play evenly and fairly again until they corrupt it further down the road, clearly. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My brain always thinks of banks leveraging, Dad. Their ability to leverage and create what's not real.
That's right.
We saw it with derivatives trading.
That's right.
Creating a whole lot of what's not real.
Yeah.
That's not sustainable.
That's a video.
It's not logical.
No.
When you're thinking top down, and when you're thinking about actual people's needs, completely illogical.
Yeah, it doesn't exist anywhere outside of nature. It just doesn't. You don't get to be a chicken and lay an egg and say, "Oh, I laid 10 today." Like, no, No, you didn't. No. And that's what banks get to do. They get to take your dollar that you bring in and say they have 10. Well, they didn't even have one. They didn't even have one, and they get to say they had 10. When we finally wrap our mind around that, we're going to get smarter. It's going to take a while, but we will get smarter. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have a great video. It's going to come out tomorrow morning about essentially that, stable coins and fractional reserve banking.
Nice.
So look forward to that.
Oh, we will.
Seamless little plug.
Beautiful.
Well, B-Man, we should probably let these people watch football or whatever they're into.
Yeah.
I know there's a couple of football games on. Catch the second half or whatever. Yeah, laces out.
Hoofty had a great question. How does a cashless society affect, this concept, that we're discussing? That's a 3-hour-long series video.
Yeah.
But, just quick thoughts. I think there's always going to be the argument of like, we need a physical tradable item or a currency. There's that. But then it's like, what do we really assign our value to in our minds? Because it's all made up. It's all a seashell essentially. But what is actually valuable? And that's what I loved about your last video, Dad. You were talking about us starting to think of value over price. That's what I want to leave everybody with today. Think of creating value.
Oh no, I'm losing you again.
Attaining assets that have positive yield, long term. That kind of stuff is what's getting us really excited, and we can't wait to share with all of you. Daddy, there, you look frozen.
Brent, I think you're going to have to sign off for us.
Okay, I will. Are we losing the woo man? Is he gone? Oh no, Dad. Hey, we're gonna let y'all go check out some football. If you're not into that, just enjoy your Sunday. Hope you all had an amazing weekend. We love all of you so much. We are so thankful that you show up here on Sundays for us. And we just want to show up for you and keep doing research and keep talking about real stuff. Oh, here's Dad.
There he is.
I was just telling the crew how much we love him. The usual.
Oh, yeah.
We're putting out the good vibes here on Sunday.
It sounds like I'm going to lose you guys again. So everybody have a great weekend, and we'll see you next Sunday. 2 Sundays till Super Bowl, right? Probably won't do a show on Super Bowl. I don't know. Maybe we should. Maybe we should.
Yeah, maybe we should.
Yeah, why not?
Beautiful.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think I got to get out of here while my internet's even decent. So
sounds good.
I hope you guys got something good out of that. We're working hard for you guys. We got a lot coming up, and we have a lot of fun stuff to share with you guys. So stick around, and if you can, if you're not, check out our Patreon channel at thestaplecrew.info. So
check us out.
What else you got, Brent?
That's it. Hoofty, I love it. Much love to you free thinkers out there. Appreciate it, Robert. Crypto Mountain, good to see you. Good to see you in here, Simon. Hey, keep up the great work, Simon. Everybody check out Simon Says Crypto. Really just fun, awesome content with him and Melissa. Check out Dip a Toe. I'm digging it.
Check out their show they did with Mr. Man. A couple of them now, I think.
Watch the Mr. Man show. You'll see Spider-Man in the thumbnail. That's when you know you found it.
And those shows are right up in line with what we were talking about earlier, and they fit perfectly with what Zach's show of AMM was as well.
I posted those
Yeah.
links below, everybody. So if you want to check out what we were talking about in the beginning today, the articles there that he's reading off of in the video, and then also the link. So check out Zach. We love Zach.
Yeah.
Take care,
Good stuff.
everybody.
All right, guys.
Have an awesome week.
Yep.